mic up, let me know.
What's
Well,
up?
hello.
What's going on? I was actually going to troll my chat a little bit because I know I was saying kicking it with Katie.
I know,
I just
that's
wanted to
what.
troll
No, you did good.
because,
I appreciate it. I wanted it to be a secret.
of course, Kelly, thank you. I figured like either way, um, they're going to join, so might as well kind of rage bait them a little bit and think
Pretty
Santos's
much.
Clippers interviewing me.
Yeah, exactly. So I've already made it very clear this is not about harassment or anything like that, and that I don't condone that. So this is like a good, clean interview. Everyone's
Please,
like, "Oh
thank you.
my God, you support Jordan," and mainly I just have questions. I think a lot of people have questions. So um,
Sure.
I'm gonna shoot off with you. Let's go ahead. So we're gonna start with the biggest question of them all.
Oh, wait one second.
Are you broke?
No, I'm not. I'm not broke. I think I'm doing all right for myself. I know there's a this whole different narrative on the internet, Mr. Decline and all that. But
Yeah, I believe
no,
they say Porden.
yeah, that's again, yeah, Mr. Decline, port and all that. But it's all in good fun, and yeah, no, I'm not. To answer your question in short, I'm not broke. No, I'm doing all right for myself. Thank you.
I think that's a I think that answers the question, y'all. Everybody's been wondering. Let's see. So, looking back, do you feel like you should have taken the Chet's advice a little more seriously?
Oh man, it depends on the situation, right? Because it's very hard to differentiate a supporter from somebody who's trying to mislead me in the chat,
Yep.
So in retrospect, yeah, there's a lot of things where the chat was speaking in a certain direction, and the majority of the chat was going in that direction, and I chose not to heed their advice, and I ended up being wrong. So, yeah, there's definitely instances where the chat was very right, and I chose not to listen to them, and I ate shit for it. So,
Yeah, that happens. I mean, the same thing happens to me. I'm a smaller creator, and so I will try to trust chat sometimes, and they lead me in bad directions. And then
exactly.
same thing, I don't trust them because then I'm scared because I was led in bad directions before, and then I should have listened. So I can
100%.
totally understand that. So how did you and Bree meet?
How did me and Bree be? Okay, so I've told this story a few times. I had a mansion before this, prior to the one I'm in, and we're throwing parties, trying to recruit girls, and she happened to be one of the girls that came to the party. Her and Vale came together. Me and Ty ended up talking with them. We went out that night to the club and got along really well. They ended up staying the night. One night turned into a month turned into multiple months, and
Okay,
yeah, that's how we met.
that makes sense. So did you know anything about her beforehand?
No, funny enough, I didn't know about TikTok period beforehand. I didn't even have the app TikTok on my phone. Um,
Really?
yeah, I didn't. I didn't know about the bad side of TikTok. I didn't know who Ash Trevino was. I didn't know
Wow, so
anything.
me and you could get along because my chat roasts me constantly. I have no idea who half these people are, and I just accidentally ended up in this world.
Same here. And I like. May I ask? I'm gonna ask you a question. How did you get into TikTok and TikTok land?
So I used to be a Twitch streamer. I used to stream video games, and when I had kids, I didn't have time to do that. So I just kind of started. I like making funny content, and I make content about being a nurse sometimes. And I
Yes.
accidentally got caught up in some of this drama, like commentating on it, and now it's turned into this. So we
Awesome.
constantly we have a board where everyone's trying to teach me how everyone's connected, and you're on the board and we're all connecting it one by one.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Very cool.
So who told you to get on TikTok?
Um, I wouldn't say anybody told me, but I'd say definitely if somebody were to be the driving factor behind it, it would be Vale.
Okay.
Obviously, because of her social media presence and how I kind of got involved in her content. First time I was involved, I was wearing a ski mask, and I kind of want to go incognito and not have my identity be shown. Kelly, thank you for the galaxy. Love to Kelly. You always show me love. But yeah, push came to shove, and everybody found out my identity overnight. Millions of people, and it went super viral. So I was like, you know what? If I can't hide it, then fuck it. I'm online now.
That's Yep, that's kind of what happened. Well, not like that, obviously not at that big, but I didn't have my real name on here, and then they doxed the shit out of me. So I was like, whatever, here's my name, let's do this.
Been
So let's
there, done
see.
that.
What was the whole deal with the 40%? So, like, what all was that supposed to cover? Like, because you were getting 40% of Bree's money, correct?
Correct, 40% Brie Vale. And yeah, so that's something I didn't do a good job at clarifying when I first spoke on it. I shouldn't have even spoke on the percentages to begin with because, first of all, I'm not very professional. Secondly, it's no one's business but mine, and the people I'm contracted with. But the 40% is actually 40% of the net at the end of the month, right? So I don't know if you guys understand the difference between gross and net, but gross is the total money you make at the end of the month. So let's say you make 100,000, 100,000 that you made that month is your gross. So after expenses, that then becomes your net, right? So my 40% is then net after about maybe, let's say the rent, the Wi-Fi, the utilities, the food, all the activities and amenities I pay for. I'm probably left with less than 20%, and I split that with Itai. So all in all, what's going in my pocket's probably less than 10% every month, and that's what people fail to realize. So when they're like, "Oh, you're taking 40%, you're predatory,"
Yeah, I'm
it's
not
not.
gonna lie. When I heard 40%, I was like, okay, why did y'all sign this contract? But now
Yes.
that you're saying it like that, that does make a lot, because y'all were providing everything, correct? Like you
Correct.
did.
Absolutely. And that's the crazy thing, right? So it's like people want to act like she didn't sit there and sign a contract in front of a notary completely sober. Not only did she sign the contract, I paid extra for her to sign a paper that states she understands every single thing she's reading and she understands fully what she's agreeing to. And she signed that completely willingly. And whether people want to acknowledge it or not, I grew her income from less than 10,000 a month to over a quarter million a month. And there's no disputing that. She doesn't dispute it because it's true. I'm not going to say I made Brianna Olsen online. I did not. She's obviously, for her to have blown up how she did, she had to have already had a following. So by no means did I make Bree's following, but I definitely did improve it, and I made her content a lot more interesting with the lifestyle I provided.
Yeah, it was definitely a team effort, it seems. Like, even with Etai, like, I feel, because I always see clips of, like, him doing, like, the text to speech and all that kind of stuff. So it seems like the way she was projected so quickly relied on the assistance that you gave and the assistance that Etai gave.
100%. And you know what? There's a lot of aspects to the drama and to Milfhouse that made it what it is and made it pop how it did. Obviously, her and Itai's dynamic was absolutely hilarious. Despite what she's saying, it was a real relationship, and they did have something for each other, and their dynamic was funny. Obviously, what happened with me and my ex-girlfriend and Vale, and there was a lot of interesting factors that played into it. And absolutely, I agree with you. It was a team effort all the way. I'm not here to say like I made Brie or we couldn't have done we could have done this without her. That's not true.
Yeah.
But she definitely, I definitely was a big part of helping her reach, where the mountain she's reached today. Mercedes, thank you.
Yeah. And I dare to say that even today, the drama is
Triple thank you.
supporting some of the money that she's making because
Oh, for
with
sure.
all of it, you know what I mean? Drama is content.
100%. And that's the thing, right? It's like I don't want to come across as cocky or thinking like Jennifer, thank you, that I'm the reason for her viewership at all. But if you look at the raw numbers when she came to my house and she caused that whole scene, her viewership 10x. And her kick streams nowadays are getting like barely over 1,000. I believe that's what I've been told. 1,000 views, which is still very good. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it's nowhere near the viewership she gets when she has drama involved with us, and that's the truth. And vice versa, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
my viewership isn't what it typically would be if I'm not having drama with them. So it's
Exactly.
absolutely mutual.
Yeah, that's a team effort. So, do you think she actually paid her share, or was the idea that she didn't need to because she was, I don't know what we wrote here, something with Etai. I don't know. We wrote something here. Do you feel like she paid her share, like being in the house, or do you feel like she didn't contribute the way she should have?
Are you talking like strictly monetarily?
Um, I mean, I think overall, because I think living in a house with roommates and everything is, or did she just think that she was the star of the show and she could do whatever the hell she wanted?
Well, that's what you just said is exactly what it was. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation because in a lot of ways she was the biggest producer, and she was one of the stars of the show. But obviously, there's nothing wrong with what she did. She'd keep to herself, and she was actually a hard worker. I'll give her that. I never really had to push her to work. She would work for the most part, and that was a good thing about her. She was motivated. She was good at her shit. So in that regard, she was very good. But in regards to contributing monetarily, absolutely not. She didn't contribute monetarily other than when I instructed her to send money for the rent. That's the only time like she ever contributed. And when it came down, she actually never paid me my 40%. And I don't know if you saw the last time we went live with her, but I made her swear on Winter's life like that she paid me 40%, and she didn't do it because she knows she never paid me the money she owed me. And one thing I don't know if the internet's understanding, but these 4 months that I was managing her, I never took my 40%. I rolled it over all until the last month. And when it came down to the last month, which she left, I was asking her 5 days in a row, hey, like, it's time to pay me. Could you please pay me the 40%? And every day was an excuse. The last day when I ended up changing her door code and that whole situation happened, I got in Santos's face. It was because I called her and I was like, hey, could you please make this payment? It's been 5 days. You keep giving me the runaround. I'm out right now. I don't know if I could do that. Maybe when I get home. And in a very condescending, sassy way that it just showed she was non-compliant, and that's what really ticked me off. That's what set me off to do what I did. And she absolutely did not pay me the money she owes me, and she still owes me a lot of money.
Do you think that that's maybe where you crossed the line here, was being friends with someone you were managing?
Chiffon, thank you. In retrospect, absolutely. I should have kept business and pleasure separate, but it's a catch-22 because arguably we would not be as big if we kept business. And
that's true. But next time, would you prefer to manage people separately than it being like your friends?
I'd have to think about that situationally. Obviously, it's a double-edged sword because in a lot of ways it was a great thing, and I don't want to act like all this was bad. It wasn't. And you know what? First of all, it taught me a lot of lessons. And, with Bree and Santos, I had a lot of great moments. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it was all bad and, they're terrible people the whole time. No, we had a lot of great moments, a lot of moments that, till this day.
Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. I can't pretend that y'all aren't funny. I do give that to Brie. I think she's funny, and I think she is very calculated and smart when it comes to social media.
Yeah, she is.
I disagree with some of her actions. She's a smart girl, and she's 100%. Funny, and she does not let the hate get to her, not one bit, as far as she appears online.
Absolutely. And she's genuinely good at that. She shuts it off completely. She's a lot better at that than I am. I'll admit that. She's a lot quite the skill set. And yeah, again, we had a lot of great moments. I feel like MILF House was iconic, whether people want to accept it or not. Maybe it's iconic for all the wrong reasons, but you guys
definitely think we'll remember it.
100%. So yeah, again, she did snake me in the end. Her and Santos did, and that was fucked up. But we had our good moments, and I appreciate those moments.
Yeah, for sure. So when you said you were holding on to her things, did you think that they really didn't matter to her since she had told the internet that she left things that weren't important?
Yeah, so when she initially said that, I thought she only left the things in her closet, like the Fashion Nova shit and like some shitty sandals and shoes, right? So I wasn't aware that Winter stuff was there, and that's why I said, you know what, like if she wants her shit, she has to pay me. But for her to say now that there's not valuable, but more sentimental things of Winter's in the closet, it's like, then that begs the question, why is a Louis Vuitton bag and Goyard designer items more valuable to you than your kids' things? Like that just speaks, if it's true, which I'm not sure if it is or isn't, I haven't dug through her shit, but if it's true, that speaks volumes to the type of mother she is. Why is she prioritizing all those things over what's truly valuable and irreplaceable?